Decode relationships. Transform your connections. Welcome to Beyond the Boundaries. Have you ever felt like something unspoken was happening beneath the surface? Like he was showing he truly cared, but not in the usual, direct ways? Almost like his behavior had hidden meanings? You're not imagining it. When a man is truly and deeply invested in you, he doesn't always say it clearly. Instead, he starts engaging in a quiet psychological dance. Not to mislead, but because love changes how he sees everything. Today, we're taking a closer look at 6 psychological patterns men show when they're deeply in love, along with 2 extra signs that many women often miss. If you've ever questioned how he really feels, this might give you the clarity you've needed. When a man is deeply connected to a woman, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even spiritually, his view of the world begins to shift. Most of the time, he doesn't even notice it happening. One of the biggest signs, even if he's unaware of it, is how he starts mirroring her emotional state. This isn't just copying her. It's not just being polite or trying to get along. It comes from something much deeper, rooted in human nature and how the mind works. What's really happening is a kind of alignment between their nervous systems. His inner world starts matching her emotional energy. He begins to feel what she feels. This isn't about control or manipulation. It's a sign of real emotional commitment. When a man truly values a woman, her joy becomes his motivation, and her sadness becomes his concern. It's empathy at its strongest, not just being emotionally aware, but being fully emotionally involved. He may not be able to explain it. He might not even know why your frustration leaves him feeling restless, or why your laughter gives him a quiet sense of direction, but his subconscious understands. It knows that your emotions now affect how he sees your bond, his role in it, and even his own worth as a partner. And that feeling of being able to support you, it means everything to a man who genuinely cares. Because for him, love isn't just a feeling, it's a responsibility. This emotional connection can also lead to challenges. When a man is emotionally attached to a woman and notices her discomfort, he might not always respond with comfort. Instead, he might go silent or seem annoyed. This often confuses women. But what's really happening is emotional overload. Not because he doesn't care, but because he cares so much and doesn't know how to handle those feelings. Many men aren't taught how to manage this level of emotional closeness. So instead of saying, "I can see you're upset and I want to understand," he may shut down, or worse, become defensive. That doesn't mean he lacks love. It means his love is tangled with fear. Fear of failing, fear of not being good enough, fear of letting down the one person he wants to be perfect for. The truth is, this emotional connection, this ability to feel what you feel, is what builds true closeness. And yet, it's also the thing he may feel least prepared to handle. If you notice he lights up when you're happy, becomes quiet when you're hurt, or seems uneasy when you're sad, even in small ways, you're seeing something meaningful. The joining of 2 emotional worlds, not a loss of self, but a deep emotional harmony. This isn't weakness, it's a powerful connection, because it means he's letting himself be changed by your presence. And for many men, that takes a huge amount of trust. Another sign is the need to protect. This is a deeply misunderstood instinct in modern love. Protection doesn't look like it used to. There are no battles to fight, no enemies to keep away. But the protective feeling inside a man hasn't vanished, it's just changed. If a man truly loves you, he'll act like a quiet protector, not in a controlling way, but through small, nearly invisible actions that say, "You are safe with me." It's in the little things, making sure your seat belt is on before driving, walking on the street side of the sidewalk, noticing when you're cold and giving you his jacket without thinking. These may seem like small gestures, but they're signs of care. They're ways he shows he puts your well-being first. Many men don't grow up being taught to express love with words. They're taught to show it through doing, through helping, through protecting. Whether that protection is physical, emotional, or even practical, it's a powerful act of love. His actions are quietly saying, "Your comfort matters more than mine, and I'll give up part of my own ease to make sure you're okay." And here's something most people overlook. This protective instinct doesn't just show up when you're hurting. It also appears when you're strong, because he sees your strength as something valuable, something worth keeping safe. Protection isn't about seeing you as weak, it's about seeing you as precious. When a man offers protection freely without expecting praise, it means he doesn't just care, he respects you deeply. To him, you're not just someone to love, but someone to honor. At the heart of it, a man in love quietly focuses on one main thing: your safety, physical and emotional. And that quiet focus isn't neediness, it's proof of love. His inner compass starts turning in small but real ways around your peace, your security, your calm. That's not control. That's commitment shown through steady, caring actions. So if he watches you with attention, speaks more gently when you do, or adjusts himself to meet your needs, even if you barely notice it, know this: he's not just interested, he's emotionally involved. And in a world where deep emotional presence is rare, that's something truly valuable. There comes a quiet moment, often missed, when a man lowers his guard, not because he wants to, but because he needs to. It only happens when he feels truly safe, when he believes you see more than his successes, that you can also see his soft spots. And he won't announce it, he won't say, "I'm opening up now." He'll hide it behind jokes. He'll share something meaningful while acting like it doesn't matter. He'll talk about an old wound, then quickly brush it off. This isn't immaturity, it's self-protection. From a young age, many men are taught by the world, by friends, by experience, that being too open can cost them everything: their respect, their image, even their peace. They're told to always look strong, never uncertain. But if he starts peeling back those layers around you, even a little, it means he sees you differently. He sees you as someone outside that world, someone safe, someone who might hold his truth gently, without judgment. That kind of trust isn't given easily. It often shows up in quiet conversations, late at night, early in the morning, during still moments when the world is quiet. He might share something from his childhood, a time he felt helpless, or a moment of deep shame. He might laugh after telling you, act like it was no big deal. But that's not because it didn't matter, it's because it mattered deeply. The test still happens, and by sharing it with you, he's offering you a piece of himself, a part he rarely acknowledges, even when he's alone. It's a kind of test, but not a manipulative one. It's the test of, if I show you this part of me, will you still respect me? Because the deepest fear for a man in love isn't that the world will reject his vulnerabilities. It's that she, the one woman whose opinion shapes how he sees himself, might begin to view him differently. When a man is in love, his emotional priorities shift. She becomes the center. Her view of him starts to affect his view of himself. So exposing his vulnerability becomes more than just an emotional risk. It becomes a risk to his identity. Will she still admire me? Will she still feel safe with me if she sees the cracks, if she hears the fear in my voice, if she notices the pain I've hidden? So when he finally shows you that raw, unfiltered part of himself, no matter how small it may seem, know that it's an act of courage. He's not just opening up, he's offering something sacred, something fragile, something real. And that's not weakness. In fact, it's a deep kind of strength, because it means he's ready to be judged in exchange for something genuine. That's a man who's trying to build something real, not just a show, not something shallow, but a connection strong enough to hold both love and fear. And that kind of connection needs a man who's emotionally brave. Just as revealing is the way a man begins to show up, not through big gestures, but through quiet, steady efforts. When he's truly drawn to someone, there's a common idea that once the chase ends, he stops trying. But that only happens when the chase itself was the goal. When the person is the goal, the chase doesn't stop, it evolves. A man in love wakes up with a quiet question inside him: how do I stay worthy of her? This doesn't come from fear or neediness. It comes from understanding responsibility. He sees your worth, and it sparks something inside him, a desire to rise. Not to impress you with charm or success, but to become the kind of man who truly deserves to stand beside you. You'll notice it in small changes, how he listens more carefully, how he shows interest in things that matter to you, not as a performance, but because what matters to you now matters to him too. That's the real point. What you're seeing in those moments isn't an act, it's growth. He begins to improve how he shows up. Maybe he starts managing his time better. Maybe he plans with more thought. You might see him rereading a message before he sends it, wanting to be both honest and kind. Well, that's not manipulation, that's presence. It's a man becoming more aware, less focused on ego, more focused on purpose. Because love isn't something passive, it asks for steady effort. And when a man sees a woman as part of his future, he doesn't become careless, he becomes committed. He raises his standards, not because she tells him to, but because his inner voice now says, be better, she's worth more, and so are you. The world doesn't always teach men how to show this kind of change, so it can come out awkwardly. He might trip over his own good intentions. He might do something thoughtful, then act like it's no big deal, just in case you don't notice. But beneath all that is a strong instinct to earn his place in your life, over and over again. That's what love stirs in a man. It doesn't weaken him, it refines him, it challenges him, it pushes him to face his flaws, his selfish habits, and his fears. And if he's truly committed, he'll see each day with you not just as a gift,